Now put me in a tomb.
Uh, uh,
Let's do it.
uh,
That's not how you want to describe
okay.
it.
I'm gonna need you to dial it back. I'm gonna
Dang.
need you to dial it back. All right.
You're in
Um,
denial.
Jesus.
I'm so excited.
All right. We're just
Okay.
gonna skirt past that. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the show. I'm Blair.
And I'm Kirsten. And we are mediocre content. And I don't have anything to talk about in the intro. I'm so sorry.
What? What? Are you even a podcast host if you don't have anything to talk about in the intro?
I feel like for the most part, we're pretty good at winging it. I'm drawing a blank, man.
Well, my cat just chased a squirrel in the yard.
Your cat just chased a squirrel in the yard?
Yeah.
Oh. Well, that's pretty neat.
And he ran into the fence because he was going so he did not get the squirrel, believe it or not.
Fast as F, boy. TikTok forever ruins me.
I know. That's the best one too. It's so good.
At least he didn't escape this time.
No, he did not escape this time. He just wanted to go through the fence, not over it.
He thought he could. He really thought he could.
Yeah, he thought he could. Unfortunately, it did not go that way.
Wait, was this Jinx or Salem?
No, it was Salem.
Oh, Salem. You're supposed to be the smart. Well, you know what? He just didn't intercept the brain cell today.
I don't think it's the smart one. I think Jinx is the smart one.
You don't think Salem's the smart one?
I think Salem is the one who's constantly curious and just down for whatever. And Jinx is the one that's I know what's really going on here.
He's got a good oversight on the situation.
Yeah.
Good for him.
And he's also super moody.
Oh. So. Sounds like Cougar, but in male form.
It truly. I think it's the same.
I feel like they'd get along so well.
Honestly, Jinx is so funny though, because he acts all he finds his little places to nap, and then we'll discover him. And then he'll just look up at us, meow, and then we pet him, and then we stop petting him and he meows again.
Perfect.
And then we pet him again. And then I try to pick him up or take him with me to where I'm going.
He says no.
And he gets all bent out of shape.
That's the duality of cats, my friend.
Right. Yeah. Oh, Salem is just dog. I could literally just hold him upside down and he'd be cool.
That's Lynx as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wait, isn't Jinx the one that sleeps in your closet when he's not supposed to?
Yes.
Nice. Yep. 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 Good for him.
Yes. He is the smart one. He's also the one who jumps over the fence, and then Salem follows.
Because he doesn't have the brain cell.
Well, and he didn't realize that he could do. And Jinx is come on, we can do this. And Salem's
Discovery.
Oh, I didn't realize that this was an option.
But you know what he did think was an option? Running through it. Which
right. And that's why Jinx Salem. Right. No, exactly.
I love the confidence. He really thought. He
really thought. He was into it. He really wanted the squirrel.
I love a confident man. What can I say?
Right.
Decisive, concise. He's that's what's happening.
Exactly. All right. So before we get started, we are not experts on anything. If you come to this here spot.
If you come here to get any type of advice, just don't. It ain't worth your time.
It ain't worth it.
Run right into a 2x4 fence. You not even see it coming. And that's the disclaimer.
All right, you guys know the drill. If we don't know what we're talking about ever, so literally. Just take stuff with a grain of salt and do your own research. That's all. That's all we ask. That's all we ask for you to be a part of this community.
Just do it yourself.
Just do it yourself. It's fine.
Would you like me to read the good news like this? No, I won't do that.
It would be quite an adventure if you did.
I mean, I did it on Twitch one time, but that was fine.
Oh no.
Remember, Mom called me Sandy Cheeks, so
That's true. You're right. You're right.
okay, I won't do that. But what I will do is jump into the good news.
Great.
We're talking about food prescriptions today, and you might be thinking, "What? Who would need a?"
That's
food
exactly what I'm thinking.
I'm so glad. This is literally what I wanted to provoke. So this is fantastic. So every 2 weeks, people participating in a food prescription program in Stockton, California, receive a special delivery, a box filled with fruit, vegetables, and other essentials. The boxes are distributed as part of the Stockton Food Bank's Healthy Food RX program so that residents with conditions such as diabetes, kidney disease, and high cholesterol can have access to fresh and healthy ingredients. Twice a month, the food bank offers cooking classes in English and in Spanish so recipients can learn new ways to prepare meals. Another successful program is in Solano County, where a mobile food pharmacy delivers crates filled with fruits and vegetables to health clinics. People who have diet-related conditions or food insecurity can turn in their food prescriptions for produce. Advocates want to expand these programs across the state, saying that they not only improve chronic health conditions, but also lower healthcare costs and reduce hunger. It is fantastic. What a great idea.
I love this idea.
I love it.
I think more people need this in their life.
Yes.
Because I mean, if you're diagnosed with a chronic condition, like sometimes it's really hard to be able to like figure out what you need to be eating and, you know, have someone delivering supplies. That's like half the battle.
And teaching you what to do with it, which, you know, it seems silly, like, oh, everybody can put together a meal. But if you have special dietary needs, that can be challenging.
Right. And like figuring out qualifies as like what you should eat versus what you shouldn't eat. Like some things, I'm not trying to say that the food industry is misleading. It would never do that to us.
Certainly not.
But there are some things that are diabetic friendly and you know, they're just like ultra processed and like not great. Like, will they increase your blood sugar? Probably not, but like still it's not good food.
Right. And if you can get whole foods and learn how best to fix them in the way that your body needs to receive it, power to you. That's fantastic.
Done. Yeah, easy peasy.
So I think this is a great idea. And even if it's not even like you know, like this particular things, I know that there's some people that suffer from EDs that are also can be part of this program to better help them. So that's also huge. So now you have somebody who's essentially checking up on you almost, you know, regularly to check in, make sure all is well, and getting what you need to succeed.
And when Kirsten says EDs, she means eating disorders, not erectile dysfunction. Just to clear that up, everyone, because it's an abbreviation that has two meanings.
It should not be a multifaceted abbreviation. I didn't even think about that. I'm over here trying to be wholesome.
I know, and I knew exactly what you meant, but then I was like, well, they also use that abbreviation for erectile dysfunction.
Oh my gosh. I mean, I guess if they want whole foods, I don't to each their own. Oh my god. All right. Well, I'm gonna move right along from that. We're now going to discuss lizard skin, which is what I'm experiencing right now because I'm peeling after a sunburn. But this is different. This is different. Researchers have identified the cells that allow lizards to regenerate their tails and are hopeful that this new knowledge will help in the development of arthritis treatments, which is fantastic. So if you don't know, lizards shed their tails every now and then, sometimes because they're being hunted, other times because they're like, nah, I don't need it. But it will regrow in about 2 months with softer cartilage replacing the original bone. In a study published in August 10 in Nature Communications, researchers from the Keck School of Medicine at the University of Southern California, so 2 California reports, that's cool, wrote that the discovered fibroblasts, which help build tissue, are the cell type that builds cartilage in the regenerated tail. They also determined that septoclast immune cells play a key role in preventing scarring. The dream is to find a way to translate that process in humans because they cannot repair cartilage. Obviously, we cannot do that.
Right.
And the team's discovery represent an important step because we need to understand the process in great detail, obviously, before we try to recreate it in mammals, because that's very different and we are not reptiles.
1,000% yes.
So
Yeah.
be very careful. I know some of you might, she's a reptile, but she's not actually. So this could be bad. So just tread lightly.
Yeah. So that's cool. I hope they make that link
Do you?
sooner rather than later.
Yeah.
Because like from a arthritis and cartilage standpoint, that means less like knee replacements and hip replacements. And although we have truly, in my opinion, mastered the art of the knee and hip replacement, there's always complications and surgery sometimes necessary, but it at all costs. So
it's true. It's very true. So that's the good news for today.
Love that. Love that. All right. So the first thing we're going to talk about today is the Egyptian pyramids. We're going to talk about a variety of different kinds of pyramids today. You'll see where I'm going with this in the second half. But to start, we're going to talk about Egyptian pyramids, the most common type of pyramid that I think most people think of when they think of and they are just tombs for Egyptian kings.
It's
very exciting.
That's how I want to be buried, just in a giant tower.
Okay, we can make that happen for you.
Please.
Yeah, what to be made out of?
Nothing too expensive. I'm not made of money, and it's expensive to die. So something small. I can't do marble. It stains easy. I don't know.
Does marble stain easy?
Oh my God. Untreated marble. If you put something like if you get like the untreated marble countertops, you're doomed.
Yeah.
Doomed.
Who does that? Do people do that? Is that a thing?
We actually have friends whose parents are very wealthy, and they have marble countertops, and you have to be extremely careful when you go in anytime you're helping prep, or maybe you're helping with drinks or something, because if you even set a glass like and it has a sweat ring on it, done, canceled, you're out. Like,
I feel like that's a very poor decision.
Honestly,
does it look nice? Is it worth it? Does it look nice?
It looks pretty, but I think it looks just as fine completely sealed.
Yeah, no, I would agree.
Porous is the problem. It's porous, so it sucks up everything immediately.
Interesting.
Yeah. Anyway, it's a sponge.
All right. Well, now we know what we don't want our pyramid to be made out of.
Not marble.
So, tombs of early Egyptian kings were bench-shaped mounds called mastabas. Around 2780 BCE, King Djoser's architect, Imhotep.
Nice.
And I'm just going to blanketly state that I don't know how to pronounce any of these things, and I very much apologize. I'm doing the best I can. Okay, so King Djoser built his first pyramid by placing 6 mastabas, each smaller than the one beneath, to stack to form a pyramid rising in steps. This is called what is known as a pyramid, and it stands on the west bank of this particular one stands on the west bank of the Nile River at Saqqara near Memphis, and not Memphis, Tennessee.
That would be
not
weird.
what we're talking about. That would be super weird.
Walking in Memphis.
Apparently there's another part of like Egypt that is called Memphis. Like later pyramids, it contains various rooms and passages, including a burial chamber for the king. And so this is very much like stacking blocks on top of each other. It's not like the smooth, like pretty, symmetrical pyramid that you think of. So this was like the first version of that. The transition from step pyramid to a true smooth-sided pyramid took place during the reign of King Snefru, founder of the 4th dynasty, the 4th dynasty is 2680 to 2560 BCE. At Medum, a step pyramid was built and then filled in with stone and covered with a limestone casing. Nearby at Bashur, construction was begun on a pyramid apparently planned to have smooth sides. About halfway up, however, the angle of the incline decreased from over 51 degrees to about 43 degrees. And then the sides, causing the sides to like rise less steeply. And it's known as like the bent pyramid because it looks kind of weird.
Nice.
Not me realizing that we probably should have done this on stream so that you could see the visuals.
Hey, that's
but it's
okay.
fine.
Look it up. Do your own research.
That's right. The change in angle was probably made during construction to give the building more stability. Another great pyramid was built in Dashur, which its sides rising at an angle of somewhat over 43 degrees, resulting in a true but squat looking pyramid.
You know what I really like about this realm of construction workers?
What?
Their absolute number one ingenuity is astounding.
Truly.
And and two, mathematically, like to the T, when they how would they have known, lest they were absolute master craftsmen, that halfway up their original scale to try and make it a true quote pyramid, they were like, this isn't going to work. We're going to have to swerve, pivot. This is what we're going to have to do to re-equate.
Yeah. Why do I feel like things falling apart? And then that's how they knew.
Hey, I was an optimist on that one.
I mean, not to be shady or anything, but like if things aren't going the way that and like you come back the next day and everything is like gone.
Sire, half the step pyramid appears to have completely crushed underneath its own weight.
And collapsed. Yeah,
and collapsed
exactly.
Entirely.
Right.
I was just saying.
I mean, trial and error, I feel like would be
fair.
good. I mean, they probably had some, knowledge of math and like the way that things fit together in order to create like a sound structure.
Yeah.
But I mean,
the left side's a bit how do you say, wobbly, sire? Embarrassing. It's just cool. I think that's incredible.
It is. It's super cool. The largest and most famous of all the pyramids, which are the pyramids that people think of when you think of the ones that are like part of the 7 wonders of the world. Is it 7? It's 7 wonders, right?
I think so. Have they upgraded it? I thought it was 7 wonders.
I don't know why. I just second guessed
now?
myself on that, but I'm pretty sure it's 7. Are we Googling?
Is it the 7 wonders of the world? Hey, when you don't know, do your own research. Yeah, it is 7.
Okay, great.
Yeah, you got it.
Glad I'm not crazy. All right.
You're not crazy.
So the Great Pyramid at Giza is the pyramid.
B1.
And it was commissioned by King Snefru's son, Khufu, known as and he has like several different names. One of them is in Greek. We're not going to talk about that right now.
Unimportant.
The pyramid's base covered over 13 acres and its sides rose at an angle of 51 degrees and were over 755 feet long. It originally stood over 481 feet high, and today it's 450 feet high. Scientists estimate that its stone blocks average over 2 tons apiece, with the largest weighing as much as 15 tons. Two other major pyramids were built at Giza. Yes, what's up?
Just one thing for people. I never assume anything. The reason that it is not as tall as 481 feet high anymore is because of erosion. I just wanted to put that in there.
Yes, that is correct. Thank you. Yeah,
one little
that's
thing.
True. You're 1,000% correct. Yeah, because wind.
Because wind.
Literally, because wind. But yes, so let's see. So the blocks are really big. How did they move those things? We don't know. We're going to figure that out. Two major pyramids were built at Giza, one for Khufu's son, King Khafre, and a successor of Khafre, Menkaure. Also located at Giza is the famous Sphinx, which is the massive lion with a human head statue, which honestly is pretty awesome.
It is.
Usually pyramids did not stand alone and were part of a big group of buildings that included temples, chapels, other tombs, and massive walls. Remnants of funerary boats have also been excavated. The best preserved ones were found at Giza, and on the walls of the 5th and 6th dynasty pyramids are inscriptions known as the pyramid texts, and that those texts are an important source of information about the Egyptian religion. The scarcity of ancient records, however, make it very difficult to be sure of the uses of all the buildings in the pyramid complex, or the exact burial procedures.
Mm-hmm.
So it's thought that the king's body was brought up by boat up the Nile to the pyramid, was mummified in the Valley Temple before being placed in the pyramid for burial.
Fancy.
Super fun. So now we're going to talk about a little bit of the construction. Is honestly my favorite part of this whole thing.
You know what?
What?
Tell me something. You're a religious person in terms of your expertise. I just thought of something random, and I don't even know if it's related. You know how the Nile is a symbol as well in the culture. It's a landmark, obviously, because it's the Nile, but it's also a spiritual place as well,
sure.
Right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Do you think that's inspiration for the river Styx?
Probably.
Because they were using it as a burial, part of a ritual, essentially.
Yeah.
And it's
probably
crossing over to the afterlife.
Yeah. Well, and then there's that whole Moses was found in a basket.
Right.
Floating. Was it on the Nile or just in a body of water? But
floating down the Nile. Yeah.
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 Hey, that's weird. Coincidence? Yeah. Maybe.
I mean, one of the things I find most fascinating, this is a quick tangent. One of the things that I find most fascinating about not ancient, but religious scripture is the fact that people who wrote it at the time didn't have the science to back up the environment. And so a lot of what was happening in the environment was also they're creating an explanation for God. Right. So it was it's very interesting. In our house growing up, when there was a thunderstorm, my parents would always be well, God must be bowling or something.
Or moving furniture.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Or he'd be taking pictures of the lightning or something like that.
Right. Yeah. So it's kind of
similar.
It's cool to see how the environment influences religion.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's so neat. And and their interconnectedness, which is super cool also.
True. Yes. Mm-hmm. Yep. Okay. So let's see. So Egyptians had copper tools such as chisels, drills, and saws that may have been used to cut the relatively soft stone. The hard granite proved to be more of a problem. But it was still used for the burial chamber because it was more dense and better protection, which we find out later that it wasn't really that protected, but plot twist, surprise. Workmen may have used an abrasive powder such as sand with the drills and the saws, allowing things to be shaped a little bit better. And knowledge of astronomy was necessary to orient the pyramids to the cardinal points And water-filled trenches probably were used to level the perimeter, which that to me is like super
Insane.
cool.
It's
Yeah.
insane.
A tomb painting of a colossal statue being moved shows how huge stone blocks were moved on sledges over ground first made slippery by liquid, which, and I mean, like, how many people do you think, like, really
I mean,
it
yeah.
took? I mean, 15 tons? You kidding me?
Well, and again, just going back to their what I perceive to be an extremely high level of knowledge, maybe they just had the physics right.
Yeah.
You
And I'm
know?
thinking, like, probably there were like some round,
Yeah.
like, I don't know, logs for
Yeah.
lack of a better term. I don't
Right.
know. Also maybe like and animals were used to help pull things
It could
too.
have been camels
Maybe
or horses
this is
or
purely
something.
speculation for the
Yeah.
listener. We have no
I was
no
not there.
basis in this. We're just
I
speculating.
wasn't present. I'm also
But yeah,
super excited that they were using, I mean, they're saying the workmen may have used abrasive powder such as sand with their drills and saws. It's
yeah,
like modern day sandpaper is essentially what it
yeah.
equates to. It was just it's
No,
just
exactly.
amazing,
It's
it's so intuitive
I love
now.
it. I love that they used their resources, literally.
Yeah,
Just,
literally
made it
figured it
work.
out. Yeah.
Um, okay. So the ground was made slippery by liquid. The blocks were then brought up ramps to their positions in the pyramid. And finally, the outer layer of casing stones were finished from the top down, and the ramps were dismantled as the work was completed. So they started at the very tip of the pyramid. Like, so they had like a base structure and they started at the very tip, and then like kind of like shingles, I imagine,
Or scaffolding. Yeah,
or
yeah.
scaffolding,
Yeah.
like, but you're laying shingles on the already scaffold roof, basically.
So smart. Yeah.
Yeah. Truly amazing.
Yeah.
Most of the stone for the Giza pyramids was quarried on the Giza plateau. Some of the limestone brought from Tura across the Nile. A few of the rooms were cased with granite from Aswan. Marks of the quarry workers are found on several of the stone blocks, giving the names of the work gangs, such as the craftsman gang. Part-time crews of laborers were probably supplemented by the year-round masons and other skilled workers. Oh wait, never mind. I read that totally wrong. My bad. Let's try that again. Part-time crews of laborers were like supplemented in addition to the year-round masons.
Wow. Are you okay?
Excuse me, I'm dying. Hold on.
Oh no. This is not an appropriate time to do that. Just kidding.
Blair dies in the middle of the podcast.
Can I intersect just one thing?
Yes, please.
I was so curious when you were talking about where they got their materials from. Can I just say that Aswan is currently a 10-hour car ride to Giza? That is 873 kilometers. Okay. Wow. This is not just like a trip down denial. This is like a legitimate journey with all of these heavy pieces that have to now scale the Egyptian terrain to get to Giza for this project.
Correct.
And that's just one area.
Correct.
Wow.
Yeah, they really, I mean, it takes time, right?
Yeah.
Like, so it's not as efficient as it would be today.
Sure.
I don't know how long it takes to like build the whole pyramid, but I imagine it takes like a variety, like 10 to 20 years probably for them with the technology they're using.
I'm going to look up an estimate.
I think it says that somewhere in here too.
Yeah. 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 It's like 15 to 30 years is the estimate. Yeah.
Yeah. So Greek historian Herodotus
reported
in the 5th CE that Egyptian guides told him 100,000 men were employed for 3 months a year for 20 years to build the Great Pyramid. So that's the biggest one in Giza. Yeah.
Incredible.
Crazy.
Also sad to a point because,
yes.
I mean, all of them were volunteers.
Right. So that's the other thing is like we don't really know. I mean, somebody probably does know, but
Right.
someone who's more educated than us would know that.
Yeah.
That, not a lot of the workers that worked on the pyramids, especially the big one,
Yep.
were probably enslaved.
Yeah.
So
Such.
we would like to acknowledge that here.
Absolutely. And just, it's very, we should, you know what? We should do, did we already say that we were going to do one on the Great Wall?
No.
Because that's another one that we could do. That's similar,
Yeah.
where
I
you
was
have this.
thinking the Taj Mahal too. We should
Oh,
do that. I've always
yeah.
wanted to go there.
Heck yeah. Okay, so we're brainstorming ideas as you're with us.
Indeed.
But it's similar, right? Because realistically, we know, especially with the Great Wall, that these were not volunteers. Like, it is something you were
1,000%.
tasked to do essentially for the rest of your living
Yeah.
life.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
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 Anyway, on that lovely note.
Pyramids building. Pyramid building was at its height from the 4th through 6th dynasties. Smaller pyramids continue to be built for more than 1,000 years. Scores of them have been discovered, but the remains of others are probably still buried under the sand. As it became clear that the pyramids did not provide protection
Nailed it.
for the mummified bodies of the kings, but were obvious targets for grave robbers. Surprise. Later kings were buried in hidden tombs cut into rocks and cliffs, which is also kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
Although the magnificent pyramids did not protect the bodies of Egyptian kings who built them, the pyramids have served to keep the names and stories of those kings alive to this day.
Very
Dun,
cute.
dun, dun,
It's very
dun.
nice. Also, it's, I think we should stop opening tombs. I really do. I feel like it's not good juju.
For real.
Can
For
we
real.
just stop?
Got enough going on.
For real.
All right. So that is your little blurb about Egyptian pyramids. We're going to talk a little bit more about the Mayan pyramids now.
I'm so excited
This
for
is
these.
the second type of pyramid. These pyramids I love,
Yeah.
and really want to go visit as well.
Mhm.
And the Mayan pyramids have a little bit more of like a mysterious and like religious flavor to them. So we'll talk about that. There is also a lot of really hard to pronounce words in here.
As expected.
And I will do the best I can. I know like some of the Mayan words are very like, they have like a specific sound, and I like know in my brain
Yeah.
how to do it, but I can't like verbalize.
Your mouth can't do it. Your mouth just can't. Can I tell you how excited I am as well? Because I see that you have the serpent god, and we talked about that in our stream when we did dragons, and I was so excited.
That's amazing, and I feel bad for not remembering that.
It's okay. Honestly, that one was a lot, and you called one of them slippery, so it's fine.
You're so correct. Okay. The Mayan pyramids. Twice a year, thousands of visitors crowd into the ancient Maya city of Chichen. It's not Chichen.
It's not chicken.
It's not chicken.
Nailed it. That is hard to say.
Chichen with a little accent mark over the E. And the second word to the city is called Itza, Itza, with an accent mark over the A.
Chichen Itza? That's so pretty.
That's what I'm saying. There's like a specific sound that's supposed to happen, and I can't do it.
Mouth, do the work.
Located in Mexico's Yucatan Peninsula, in anticipation of the descent of Kukulkan. Kukulkan.
Don't say that. Roll that clip.
What it looks like though.
Roll that beautiful bean footage.
It's spelled C or not C. God. It
See?
spelled it K-U-K-U-L-C-A-N with an accent mark over the A. And that is a god.
Yes. Okay.
And so there is a festival twice a year on the on the equinoxes,
Mhm.
and they go to the Mayan pyramid on the Yucatan Peninsula to worship the god, basically. And
Nice.
it's like a festival type situation, from
Cool.
what I can tell. They gather around the site's pyramid called El Castillo, the castle. And Spanish conquistadors called it that.
Nice. Yeah.
Where, according to the legend, the god, the feathered serpent god, alights from the heavens, blesses his worshippers on earth, and then makes his way to the underworld, which also has a very complicated name that I will spell now. It is Ibalba.
Is it
And that is
Shilbaba?
the
Shibalba?
possibly.
Is X make the sh noise?
I have no idea.
Fair.
I
I don't know. It's fine.
Anyway, in reality, the setting sun during the spring and fall equinoxes casts a shadow on the northern balustrade of El Castillo that resembles the form of a snake slithering down the stairs. So there's an actual effect during this time of year that like projects a snake slithering down the stairs on this day. It's amazing. Super cool.
Extreme ingenuity, extreme math skills, directions.
Well, and like the knowledge of the poles and like,
it's just amazing.
All of that stuff. It is. You can, while onlookers observe the phenomenon on the outside, archaeologists have been exploring the inside of the pyramid for nearly 100 years. Archaeological explorations of El Castillo have revealed not only the rubble or earth from which many Mesoamerican pyramids are built, but also two earlier pyramids and possibly an entrance to hell.
Oh, well, maybe let's not go there.
So while it's pleasing in symmetry, tidy stepped platforms and crowning temple, El Castillo is one of the most recognizable Mesoamerican pyramids. It was probably built by the Toltec Maya between 1050 and 1300 CE. So it, like after the Egyptians.
Yeah.
Not very much after.
Yeah.
When the rest of the Maya population was dwindling, that's when the pyramids were built, apparently.
Nice. Perfect.
Yes. So it's famous not only for the descent of the Mayan god, serpent god, but also for its relationship to the Mayan calendar. Each of the pyramids has a staircase of 91 steps. The total number of steps when combined, the temple at it equals 365, the number of days in the Maya solar year. What else has 360, Kirsten?
It's the Earth year.
Good job.
I'm so smart.
The temple on top was exclusively by priests who performed sacred rituals at a height that brought them closer to the gods in the sky.
Gotta watch your step up there. First one's a doozy.
Ooh, that's right. So let's see. Priests did one of the 4 staircases to reach the temple. The pyramid was never meant to be entered.
Oh.
In the 1930s, however, so it's only at this point, like it was meant to be like you go
observe
up the sides and you looked around and that was it.
Yeah. That's why they put hell inside.
Right. So in the 1930s, however, a group of excavators began and discovered that another pyramid temple was nestled with larger pyramid.
That's hell.
Further excavations revealed that it had 9 platforms, a single stair way, and a temple containing human remains, a jade-studded jaguar throne called Chak, which is a type of Mayan sculpture of an abstract male figure reclining and holding a bowl, used as a receptacle for sacrifices.
I.e., hell, you shouldn't be in there. Stay out.
Researchers theorize that the pyramid was constructed sometime between 800 and 1000 CE. In the mid 2010s,
Wow.
Please hold.
Rebooting.
Archaeologists
Nailed it.
using non-invasive imaging techniques discovered yet another pyramid buried within the two others. They theorize that it was probably built between 550 and 800 CE and may have a single stairway and an altar.
So it's
basically the Mayans are the Russian nesting dolls of pyramids. It's literally what it is.
We'll just put this box in another box, put that box in another box, and then I'll mail it to myself.
And I'll mail it to myself. Oh, I need to watch that movie again.
Fine, I'll watch The Emperor's New Groove.
My gosh.
It's kind of topical too. I mean, I know that they weren't Mayan necessarily, but
I think the
flavored
would be Peru, right?
Yeah,
if we had to guess.
Probably.
South America somewhere.
Yeah. I wonder what Cusco's temple looks like. Oh, wait, we already know. Huge.
And in his face shape.
Indeed. Which I think is, a taste above.
It's a little narcissistic.
Maybe.
Right. So now that we know about the Russian nesting doll temple, El Castillo is unusual for having not one, but two temple pyramids inside of it. Archaeologists have found earlier structures within several American pyramids. For example, excavations of the Pyramid of the Sun in Teotihuacan. Teotihuacan?
That's what I would say. I don't know what the H... Teotihuacan?
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe.
So that's where the Pyramid of the Sun is, which was constructed by an unnamed ancient culture near Mexico City around 100 CE, found that the pyramid had possibly been built over 3 earlier structures.
So another
nesting speculate doll. That rulers often constructed new buildings as means of outdoing their predecessors.
Oh. Okay.
So basically they were like, well, my pyramid's going to be bigger and it's going to go on top of your pyramid.
So these were dudes. Okay, cool. Just wanted to clarify.
Yep.
That's no offense to men at all. It's just a joke, I promise.
It's the patriarchy. What are you going to do? Interestingly, archaeologists working in the 1970s also found a system of caves and below the Pyramid of the Sun, which connected to the city's various underground rivers. Doesn't this sound like an Indiana Jones movie?
It do.
The discovery suggested a purposeful decision to build on that very spot.
Unfortunately, my brain immediately goes sinkhole, which
right.
isn't as good.
Yeah. Right. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
There has to be some like bedrock there somewhere.
Right?
Yeah.
Right.
You can't make a tunnel in a sinkhole.
No, but a sinkhole can certainly make a tunnel out of you. That's for sure.
Yeah. But there's got to be like some firm, like,
I hope
it's not sinking. So
no, that's true. I wonder if they've done research on that.
Well, and it could be like the cheese caves, right? So there's like a ton of caves
that's true.
Underneath the ground.
That's true.
But it also happens to have water in it. I don't know.
Yeah.
Or it goes deep enough to get water.
Maybe. It could be. Maybe they're not vast. They're just, I don't know.
I don't know either.
Scary. I don't know. That spooks me a bit. You know how they found like that whole environment that was in a cave? Like it was a whole world inside the world in this cave?
I did not, but okay.
Oh, well, if you want a good existential crisis, I think it's somewhere in Asia, if I'm not mistaken, but it's literally a giant cave that has its own ecosystem and is almost like an entire world underground.
Cool.
Yeah. That's
Hmm.
yeah. Yeah. Maybe we should do it at I'll freaking hold on. Let me get our schedule. Anyway.
To the list.
To the list.
All right, I'm going to keep going while you do that.
Secret tunnel.
Secret tunnel. Archaeologists made a similar discovery at the place where, let's see, at the place that I cannot pronounce, but where El Castillo is, in the 2010s. Once again, using non-invasive imaging techniques, they found that what they believe to be a cenote, or a large sinkhole, there
it is,
below the base of El Castillo. The depression is to the one, the Chichen Itza Cenote Sagrado, or the Sacred Cenote, located at the city's northernmost end, associated with the cult of the rain gods called the Chaks. CHAC. It was the site of regular offerings that included such precious objects as jade, gold, copper, as well as humans. That's terrifying.
I didn't think that was considered a precious object, but okay.
I know.
Precious.
The cenote connects to numerous underground rivers and caves under Chichen Itza's limestone bedrock, a geological formation called a karst. Such underground cavities were not only sources of fresh water for the Maya, but also, according to their beliefs, entrances to their version of hell.
The place of fright. Scary.
Yes. So that's interesting.
Yeah. And horrifying.
Yeah. So in 2018, the archaeologists began exploring the underground water system beneath El Castillo. And if the if the archaeologists are successful in proving the cenote's existence, so the large sinkhole's existence, El Castillo would then not only have served as a staircase that brought priests closer to God, but also as a gateway to the demons of the underworld. So it would essentially be an axis for the center of the world, uniting the earth with heaven and the underworld. El Castillo thus may have had a more significant role in the Mayan religion than archaeologists and tourists have previously thought, but such a claim requires further explanation.
Yeah. That's interesting. You're like right on the crux, I guess.
Yeah, so it's kind of cool. Like you literally have heaven and hell like right there.
They're coexisting.
Yeah.
That's great. Good for them.
It's so cool.
It is really cool, honestly.
So that is the little bit about the Mayan pyramid at El Castillo. And that's literally all I have for you on that.
First half done.
Check.
Would you like to take a break?
Let's take a break, and then when we come back, out a different kind of.
Sounds good. I love a good pyramid, man.
Every week, you listen to the MCP host droll on and on about, quote, interesting topics. And yes, I did just use air quotes for that.
We are positive your listeners would come up with better topics than them, and so we are enlisting you to send them over so we can talk more about exciting things in the future episodes.
We highly encourage you to do yourself and other listeners a favor and start sending good topic ideas over to mediocrecontentpodcast@gmail.com.
We even give you permission to slide into their DMs over on Instagram at Mediocre Content Podcast and Twitter at Mediocre Squawks.
If you don't decide to send topics over, prepare yourself for continued intense mediocrity.
Though honestly, it will probably be mediocre either way. Thanks for trying, and good luck in the second half of this interesting podcast, air quotes still included.
Secret tunnel.
Oh my gosh, we got to do it now.
Secret tunnel.
You're going to be so impressed and also absolutely horrified at the same time. It's going to be great.
great. That's how I like to be.
Every podcast, I want to be
Every
right
day.
on the edge.
Every podcast that you do. Every podcast that you do.
I want to be on the edge of a mental breakdown. That's why I'm here.
All right. So in the second half of this pod, I talk about pyramid schemes because I want to. That's why.
I love how that's what we're integrating. It's so funny. You thought you knew everything about pyramids. Well, wait,
This is different.
have you seen the TikToker that does the pyramid scheme skits?
No.
Oh my gosh, she's so funny. She has like this whole setup where she pretends to be like, clearly you don't know what it's like to be a girl boss and own your own business and be completely financially like, she's just so funny, and it's all satire, but it's so great.
I love that for her. Now since we have spoken about it,
Yeah.
I'm sure that it'll show up on my TikTok. So that's good for us.
It's heard us. It knows what to give you now.
Know what you're talking about very soon.
It's honestly, TikTok knows best.
That's right. Okay, so pyramid schemes. Some would say, what is a pyramid scheme, Blair?
What is
And I'm
that?
going to tell you. This is based also one of the biggest pyramid schemes that has ever happened took place in the financial district of New York City.
Mhm.
And so I got this information off the New York State website, New York
Perfect.
Attorney General's website.
So it's
Um,
fielded for sure.
And I just think it's funny
Mm,
that they have a whole section of the Attorney General's website on what is and is not a pyramid scheme
mhm.
and like why you shouldn't do it.
It was born of necessity.
It really was.
Clearly.
It really was. Okay, so a pyramid scheme is a fraudulent system of making money based on recruiting an ever increasing number of quote unquote investors.
Investors.
The initial promoters recruit investors who in turn recruit more investors and so on and so forth. The scheme is called a pyramid because at each level, the number of investors increase. The small group of initial promoters at the top require a large base of later investors to support the scheme by providing profits to the earlier investors. So as you get more people, it
Yeah.
becomes a pyramid shape. If you were to like map it out
Yeah.
on paper.
Yeah.
That's why it's called a pyramid scheme, which honestly though, like because it's on, if you mapped it out on 2-dimensional paper, it should technically be a triangle scheme, not to be
Science.
shady, but it technically should be a triangle, not a pyramid.
You guys don't know your shapes. Go back to geometry.
It's true. All right. Okay, so now with that definition in mind, we're going to talk about what is multi-marketing, because multi-level marketing is a little bit different, but like somehow very similar
Lovely.
to a pyramid scheme. And I mean no tea, no shade to the people out there who are on their hustle with their LuLaRoe leggings or like whatever it is you're doing.
Right.
If that works for you, beautiful.
Beautiful.
I am just here to provide the fact. Multi-level marketing is of selling products directly to consumers without intermediary retail stores. Products are sold through a network of distributors or salespersons set up to resemble a pyramid. Each distributor recruits and trains additional distributors and will earn commissions on their sales as well as on the sales he or she makes. Because of their pyramidal structure, multi-level marketing companies can sometimes be called pyramid schemes.
Yeah, got to be careful. Read that line.
You do have to be careful. I'm just now realizing that Mary Kay is a multi-level marketing
and Avon as
situation.
well. Mm-hmm.
And Avon, yeah. Although, have you ever seen a Mary Kay mobile? Do you know what I'm talking about?
What is it?
A Mary Kay mobile.
Oh,
So like if you
like
make
the
a
pink
certain
Cadillac?
number of, yeah, the pink
I wanted
Cadillac.
one so bad.
I know.
I wanted it.
They
so
look
bad.
so nice.
They do.
For those who don't know, if you sell a certain amount of product for Mary Kay, they will give you a pink Cadillac.
And it's like top. Like it's not just something that like, oh, you sold however many this month. Like you are like Becky. You're just the head honcho of the neighborhood.
Becky.
That's the first name that came to mind.
Yeah.
You own the streets is basically the end all be all.
It's true.
Yeah,
the Mary Kay streets.
Yeah. Becky's in charge. Kudos to all the Beckys out there.
Anyway, so now what is the difference between pyramid scheme and multi-level marketing? How come they're not the same? And why is legally okay?
Right.
A legitimate multi-level marketing company emphasizes reliable products or services. So you are getting a service from the multi-level marketing company, whether it is a quality service or product, that is yet to be determined. But here we are. A pyramid scheme uses products or services to disguise its quest for collecting money from the investors on the bottom levels to pay other investors further up the pyramid. Basically, in a pyramid scheme, you're taking money from your investors to pay the top people, and that's it. And the people at the bottom are thinking, oh, well, I'm like making money because I invested, but really you're just using that money to pay people who are the top people. And that's why it's a problem.
Yeah, because it has nothing to do with product or service and everything to do with just feeding people money. And it doesn't like, that's
Correct.
not okay.
the people, and like in both of these scenarios, the people at the top, like the original people who form these groups usually benefit the most either way.
Right.
But technically with the multi-level marketing thing, at least people at the bottom are getting like product, you know.
Well, yeah, because they're like selling real product and they're like providing real service
or leggings or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah.
Useless nonsense.
I'm allergic to Mary Kay makeup. I don't know if I still am because I just never went back.
Oh, really?
But yeah, it like broke me out every time.
Interesting. Pampered Chef is another good one. Multi-level marketing. What's that?
Cutco?
Yeah, I don't know what that is.
Oh my gosh. This is ridiculous. So when I was first looking for a job, I didn't know what this was. But they sell knives, like kitchen knives. And basically what they do is they bring everybody in for an interview and they tell you how good their product is and they teach you how to sell it. And then they ask you to sell the product to them in the room to prove that you can sell. And the whole point is it is also a multi-level marketing scheme, but basically it's the same thing, but with kitchen knives. But you have like a whole demonstration. You have a suitcase of product that you have to showcase the product to the customers. And this is door to door. At least it was when we were initially interviewing for it. And
okay, first of all, who answers their door? Like realistically.
Okay, so to be fair, back then the answer is quite often.
Yeah. No, but like now, like if you can, even if like they have the Ring doorbell, like no, there's no way there. I'm opening the door.
First of all, nobody goes to their door anymore, but also second of all, nobody answers their phone anymore, takes sales calls because you can never be too careful, and that's just the world we live in, you know?
1,000%.
So anyway, I feel like that's I feel like things like that are dying out just because.
Oh, yeah.
it's
Yeah.
harder to gain traction with a public who is like so used to being scammed that they just ignore it.
Mhm.
So I don't know. I feel like that's why we have Wish and Temu now. Like the
Oh,
electronic
God.
version.
I know.
Uh,
Yikes.
But that's a different episode for a different day.
It is. It is indeed. Okay. So, how can you avoid being in a pyramid scheme? The easiest way to avoid being defrauded is obviously not to participate in any promotion that appears to be a pyramid scheme.
Good advice.
There are some additional tips to steer clear of
thank
pyramid
goodness.
schemes,
I was worried.
in case you were wondering.
I'm so, I was worried, but
This-
now
This kind of reminds me of that episode of The Office where Jim proves to Michael that he's in a pyramid scheme, but he doesn't understand what a pyramid scheme is.
it's great.
Okay, so here's some things you can do. Gather all information regarding the company, its officers, and its products or services. Get written copies of the company's marketing plans, sales literature, contracts, etc. Avoid promoters who fail to explain their plans clearly and in detail. In particular, read the company's prospectus or other written material. And just in case what a prospectus is, because I definitely know, it is a legal document that gives prospective investors information about the company.
Mhm.
If you don't understand it, get someone independent of the country company to
Expand it
to
so far.
explain it to you.
We are now a country. I love it.
Yes. So
Also the type this is just a side note. Sometimes the type of worker is very important as well, because at least some of the ones that we've encountered, they're all 1099s because they're easy to cut and create very quick contracts as they need to. So just wanted to point that if you're a
Interesting.
W-2, it's kind of more solid. Not always necessarily, but it's
interesting. So you mean like when you get hired on?
Mhm. Yeah. So if you're
I
like
see.
trying to join a company, if they offer you a contract, just make sure you read all of that stuff and be mindful, especially in the sales
Yeah.
world, because they do that a lot. And it's just
Fair.
easier for them to, skate around some stuff.
Yeah. Okay. A second tip is to find out if there is demand for the product or service.
That's smart.
Is there a similar product or service on the market? If so, how well does it sell? If the promoters seem to be making most of their money by selling distributorships or large startup inventories to new recruits, stay away.
Yeah. Be careful.
Third tip, ask if you must buy a product to become a distributor. Find out if the company will buy back your inventory. You could get stuck in sold products.
Mhm.
Legitimate companies will buy back inventory for at least 80 to 90% of what you paid. Get all promises in writing.
That's
So,
the biggest piece.
I don't know if you watched the LuLaRoe leggings company documentary on Hulu, but it's wild. And these poor women, a lot of them ended up getting stuck with like
Mhm.
80 pairs of leggings that are not cute and smell really bad because the fabric that they used apparently like they outgrew their like one of the problems is they outgrew their warehouse factory and so some of the leggings were like damaged outside and like all these other things and they were still trying to sell them, etc.
Naturally. Yeah.
So yeah, definitely double check that. Because you
Yeah.
don't want to be stuck with a bunch of crap that you don't want.
Yeah. I don't remember. My mom sold Avon for a little bit, but I don't remember how much she paid. But we did have boxes and boxes of stuff. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
And I took most of the samples.
I mean, that's fair. As her daughter, that is your obligation.
I was making an investment. I was like, you know what? I'm going to try
Right.
the product and give honest reviews.
That's right. All right. Beware if the startup cost is substantial. Some pyramid schemes pressure you to pay a large amount to become a distributor. are you getting for your money? Beware of promises of quick and easy and unreasonably high profits.
Mm-hmm.
There's no such thing as a get rich quick scheme.
Exactly. And if it is, it might be illegal.
That's right. If the distributor is providing a product for use to make a final product, make sure that whatever you provide reaches the final manufacturer.
Mhm.
And call or visit the manufacturer for a list of customers. Call the customers and ask if they are satisfied with the product.
It's pretty smart.
And the final tip, resist the temptation to invest just because the people selling you the program are friends or part of your religious or social group.
Also solid advice.
Indeed.
That second to last one's really smart too. Like, just, if you have any doubts of where you hit in the production line, always a good idea to figure out, okay, well, where is it actually going and who's using this shit?
Exactly. And now we will talk about the aforementioned major pyramid scheme that took place in New York City.
Perfect. I'm ready.
So Bernie Madoff, formal government name Bernard Lawrence Madoff,
thank you for that,
was an American fraudster and financier who was the mastermind of the largest Ponzi scheme in history.
Wow.
Worth about $64.8 billion.
Ooh, get it, Bernie.
He was at one time the chairman of the NASDAQ Stock Exchange. Madoff's firm had two basic units, a stock brokerage and an assets management business. So as the story goes, he founded a penny stock brokerage in 1960, which eventually grew to Bernard L. Madoff Investment Securities. However, while the stock brokerage part of the business had a public profile, Madoff tried to keep his asset management business low profile and exclusive. So basically, the asset management business was like not doing well. So then he did the penny stock brokerage in 1960, but the asset management one was like a lot of his friends and a lot of family. And so, hey, we want you, because you're so good at the stock brokerage part of it, we want you to manage our money.
Mistake number 2.
Right. And so, like, by word of mouth, all of these people were like, oh yeah, we want Bernie to like manage our money. Because it just makes sense doing so well exchange. And so basically he was taking all of these people's money, which was a lot of money, like all of people's retirements accounts.
Ouch.
And basically not doing anything with them.
Nice.
He was like literally just hoarding all the money.
So stealing is what this man was doing.
And then I think but basically he wasn't doing anything with the money. So then he would so people would ask like, hey, how's my money doing?
Right.
And he would create like fake reports.
Oh, that schmuck.
Right. And people lost like millions of dollars.
Did it say whether they ever reclaimed any of that, or was it just all lost?
It's all lost.
Ugh.
I'm pretty sure. I don't, some people, I can't remember exactly what, because I watched like a couple different documentaries on this. And I'm pretty sure most of it was lost.
That sucks.
I know. So yeah.
Great.
At the firm, he employed his brother as senior managing director, chief compliance officer. Peter's daughter, Shayna, was the firm's rules and compliance officer and attorney, and is now and his now deceased sons, Mark and Andrew, also had major roles at the company. Peter was sentenced to 10 years in prison in 2012. Mark tragically hanged himself in 2010, and
Ooh.
his son Andrew died of lymphoma in
Ooh.
2014. Yeah.
Oh man, that sucks.
So
he screwed an entire.
Yeah.
He screwed his entire family
correct.
and everyone else that took a
Correct.
chance on him. Ugh, gross.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's just nasty.
It's not good. It's not
What an-
great. That is for sure.
Also, what an interesting way to end a podcast about pyramids.
You're welcome.
Like
Outside the
turn.
pyramid here.
I like the way it turned. Yeah, that's great.
You're welcome. Just
That's
thought I'd
great.
bring some lighthearted thievery to our podcast.
Honestly, it started in the tombs, and it's still kind of the same thing.
It's
honestly.
ending in the tomb.
It's ending in the tombs. It's in the pits. That's what it's in. Have we gone back to the Mayan hell? Like where are we? Oh my god. Oh Lord. Well,
Be careful what you're doing with your money
for sure.
and be smart out there.
Mm-hmm.
Get on finance TikTok.
Ooh,
Do
yeah.
what you need to
Do that.
do. Yeah.
But don't join a pyramid scheme.
Don't do it.
Don't do that.
The Attorney General of New York definitely does not want you to do it.
Yeah, if you go on his website, he's like, please, God, no. Please. Oh my goodness. Well, you guys could let us know if you have ever heard of a local pyramid scheme, or if you have also been part of or heard of a multi-level marketing situation that maybe we didn't name. We named a couple, so be interested to see what the ones were in your area and if they're still active. Yes. That would be cool. You can do that by sending us an email at mediocrecontentpodcast@gmail.com. You can also follow us on Instagram at the same. And we are on ye olde TikTok and Twitch. Again, Mediocre Content Podcast. And don't forget to rate us 5 stars. This isn't a pyramid scheme, so feel safe to do that.
Yeah. I just looked today and we have 2 5-star reviews on Spotify.
Do we really? That's so cute.
We do.
We could receive stars. Can I rate myself? No, that's cheating. I can't do that.
I don't know. Yeah. I just saw it on there. I was like, oh wow, look at us.
Look at us. Okay. Well, guys, thank you so much for doing that. And please don't stop now. If you enjoy the pod and you think others would, that's the best way to do it. Word of mouth and reviews are literally the wave of the future, and we genuinely appreciate it if you take the time to do it. So yeah, please do. That's also how we know even if you even like this stuff. So, there's that also.
5 stars.
5 stars. And with that, I guess we'll see them next week.
We shall. Cheers.
Cheers.